It's a wine glass with scotch and ice.
What the fuck?
Wine glass with what? Wine glass with what?
Scotch.
Scotch and what?
Ice.
Scotch and ice?
But it looks like it's iced tea.
Iced tea?
I have iced tea. We're gonna be politically correct. Hi there.
Hi.
Are we with the ha-ha flowers today?
What?
Haha Tonka.
Ha-ha Tonka.
Tonka.
Is that an Indian name?
Well, yes, it is.
If y'all hear any language that's out of the ordinary, blame it on Joe.
Yes.
It's a Pennsylvania problem.
Pennsylvania problem?
Coal crackers, you know.
Go crackers.
You know, well, coal crackers. Coal.
Coal.
C-O-A-L.
Break up. C-O-A-L. I think that's how you spell it.
Just like bird.
Yeah.
B-R-R-Y.
Well, coal crackers. My brother, my mother, my father, all the three of us.
All the three of you?
Yeah.
Who was working on the radiator?
Well, we all been fixing that radiator because you know if you don't, the battery will ruin the metal, eat through the radiator, and then you'll be leaking out and burn up that engine right there. What'd you do with your finger?
Which one? That one?
That one there. How'd you screw that up?
Arrow.
A crazy cow got after me and got it hung, and I was trying to throw a gate around it, and trying to get it gate around there, and a chain hung it, pulled the end of it off.
Did you say, I'm go down there? What did you say?
Exactly right. Yeah.
You got caught in a coal and called crazy cow.
Guys, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Do you guys make fun of my language?
no, I can understand what you said. I have to listen very carefully and very deliberately to listen to Michael.
Hey.
And that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying there's wrong with that.
Honestly, 35 years ago, when I first met this man right here, it was in the fire room, and I'm sitting down there, and I'm like, what the hell was he? Did he just say? I'm thinking to myself.
I think he said,
But I learned, and I learned it quick.
Learned it?
I learned it.
He learned it quick. Yeah. Did you ever learn it? Learned it?
I figured it out.
Figured it
I
out.
had to listen carefully. You were in charge, man. I didn't want to get yelled at.
I was scared to death, man. I was an 18-year-old kid, but I was scared to death when the first time I went
I
down
wasn't
there.
scared of that. I was more scared of the other guy. He's a skinny little. What the hell is his name?
Skinny guy?
Yeah, the Camaro. Lance's friend. He had a Camaro and he built this like 327. He didn't reprogram the transmission. He built this hot motor and he forgot that you have to do different stall speed, different gears. You want to make this all work. But he was all right.
All right, y'all.
So
Welcome back to 810 Outdoors. Y'all, this is going to be a little bit different because I'm sitting here with some of the guys that helped mold my life, and we kind of helped mold our lives together. And part of it being with the military, we were in the Navy, so.
could you tell?
Could you tell? We got our hats on. We're having an old man reunion.
Yep. 4-3.
CEB. Been 35 years, right? Or 36 years.
Well, I got out
Since we got out.
86.
87.
Yeah, 37 years. Yeah.
30. You got out in 86, 87, 88.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know the back history, like I went in the Navy when I was 17. I took my GED and went to 17, went to the boot camp, done the schooling, then went and met on an aircraft carrier in Alameda, California. Done a world cruise, then went to Portsmouth in Norfolk, and we did a big change in personnel, and these guys come on while we're in the ship doctor, basically, right?
Pretty much. Yep.
And we were getting
Overhaul.
U.S.S. Coral Sea, CB-43, an aircraft carrier that was built in the 40s, right? So,
Yep.
So it was built on a battleship frame, and they were trying to be in a hurry to build it because it was during World War II. So.
And it was named after the Coral Sea
Coral Sea
battle,
right? So.
where the Yorktown was sunk, another aircraft carrier.
So we all kind of learned. Since we're doing overhaul, we learned, the intricacies of the boiler. I was only on there like for a year or so doing the world cruise and, learning the operations part. But since we've done overhaul, we learned how everything worked while we were repairing it, working on it, remodeling, doing the upgrade. Because that ship was the first aircraft carrier to get the F-18s. So bad jet, still in service now to this day, right? So
F-18s are?
Yes. Stop talking too fast. That's what it is.
No.
No, you just have a
Well,
little
you're
accent.
here.
You got a little swamp
Oh,
accent.
swamp accent.
That's all right.
You might be hearing too slow.
Okay, maybe.
That may be it.
I don't think my brain can
After
work that
36
fast.
years, I found out what the problem is.
Anyway, I'm from Alabama. He's from
Pennsylvania, but I moved to Florida 9 years ago. And I'm starting to get a little southern swing, but not much, just a little bit. Usually what I'm doing, I'm making fun of people. Y'all.
Originally from Illinois.
So usually I say yous guys. Like I don't say y'all. I say, you guys want to go to the bar? Instead of, y'all want to go to the bar? I don't know. Yous guys.
what's
I'm
wrong
from
with y'all?
Illinois. Originally
Well, no,
from
they're
Southern
both
Illinois.
good. I'm sure I sound funny with yous guys.
Yeah.
Do we?
Do I sound fun when I say yous guys?
What
Do
do
you,
we sound
do
when
you,
we say
do you know
yous
what I
guys?
mean?
Yous guys?
Yous guys.
See, he says "yous guys." You say "you
I
guys."
say yous guys.
He says "y'all."
Y'all.
And I said
Y'all's a lot simpler.
What do you say?
"you."
You. He says
You want to go to the bar? I say yous guys.
I said "you."
So
wanna
we
go
all
to
have
dinner
our
or
own
something?
communication.
Yeah, a different way to say it.
It's not necessarily that
And that
we're
was a
all
good thing
more
about being
stupider.
in the whole group.
We're all
As,
stupidly equally.
we had a couple other guys that were not able to be with us this weekend,
yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
we're
great.
missing
We had
Mark, he
Mark
accelerated.
there.
He was way smarter than we are. I thought we were smart, and then all of a sudden I find out 30 years later, Mark did this, did that, grew up, got a commander's thing, let him in, he was in charge. Turn left, and they would do it. Like I was noticing to me when I was a baby.
Joe.
What?
It's not turn left.
It was what?
Turn port.
Turn port or starboard, not left or right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was a lot smarter than me. He
That's
knew
why.
the
That's
difference.
why we were in the bottom.
That's why we
we
couldn't
didn't
control
They
nothing.
just tell me put more steep in, burn it up, like whatever.
Keep
like
it at
that.
600.
Yeah. We were the dumb guys. They would just button up the ship and let us die. They didn't have, we didn't have to jump off. We could find more stupid people.
All right. Let's get structured here.
We weren't. We were a little.
Let's get structured.
We're a little bit better than bullet catchers.
That's right.
Yeah, bullet catchers like
Yeah. So we had like 5 of us in the main group. Me, Joe, Scott, Mark,
Danny.
and Danny.
Tony Gerke.
Was
Yeah.
that-
And Tony.
Gerke.
And Tony.
Gerke.
Flash. We called him
Was
Flash.
Danny was on our watch team or he just hang out with us?
Danny was on Charlie, but he might have been on some of the watch teams moving in and out. So I
But
think he was
to be the nucleus in Fort Baker,
right.
Hung out with him.
you were the leader. Then we had Joey and myself, then Mark, and maybe it was Tony. Was Tony on the?
Well, at the end of the cruise, he didn't make it. He got
We
fired.
were the
core
nucleus.
group, yeah.
We were the core group, and we beat the Carl Vincent.
I remember Danny and Mark and Oz. So our watch team was like probably you, me. What's his name here? What's his name?
Me,
Mike.
Chief Bawana.
What's his name? Chief Bawana in the back. The hunting guy.
Dude, Chief Bawana.
Yeah. We had a watch team. We had 12 bullets on this ship, 4 engines, It's all steam turbine stuff. Everything on a carrier, everything on most of your naval vessels were steam powered, making
This
the
is all
water,
stick
making the
shift
motor.
too. We controlled the fuel oil pressure. We controlled. There was no
Water
automatic.
Yeah.
There was no automatic.
Yeah, it was all manual, manual stuff. So nowadays you can run 12 bullets with a computer. But we're all
One guy could run them all.
right. One
Push
guy.
start.
So we had a watch team. You had teams that were assigned normal operations. Then you had general quarters team, battleship teams, or battle condition teams, and we were that team when we went to
And we run a catapult.
and run the catapults. So,
We had catapult there, steam kicking off us.
catapults
remember.
launched the jets. So.
What cat did we have?
I don't remember. I wouldn't even know. We had 3 cats.
Because that was the side. That
And
was
we
the
had
side
four.
one,
We had 4 engineering departments. So so 3 cats were on off like 2, 3, and 4 group, and 1 group was the hotel team auxiliaries.
Well, they had
Food
auxiliary, they also
Yeah, they had to worry about hot showers.
Right.
They didn't have a big job.
and they also had their engine that they supplied us team too. But yeah, cats
Well,
1,
their
2, and 3.
engine, but they were all auxiliary. We could cross tie.
Right.
Like if they failed, we'll
could
help
take it
them out.
over.
We'll get a
Yeah, we
little
could-
steam
right.
while we're running cats and main engines.
But we're having a good time. So y'all overlook some
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
But yeah, we've been here for this is the second day.
Second day.
Second day, like I say, went
One night.
So
Well,
one
they
night.
flew in yesterday. You guys all flew in from Atlanta. Picked you guys up in Kansas City. We're in the Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake is always our,
Yep.
Scott's place here. And one thing, we're going to talk more about the shift stuff. But one thing we need to kind of elaborate on are kind of our group, me, Joe, Scott, and Mark, and even Danny,
Even though they couldn't come out.
our life was, even though they couldn't get here, our life was so much influenced by our time together on this ship. Not just the ship work, but seeing other parts of the world, how other parts of the world worked, and and reacted to the things we kind of done. So it just molded the men that we are. So Joe has moved up and moving into living a good life down in Florida on the lake, skydiving.
Oh yeah, I love to skydive and
Slalom skiing.
slalom ski and
some kind of quad chain.
I was a martial arts black belt with my daughter. I got an old muscle car with a badass 414 cubic inch small block that I built myself, and it's running for more 400 or 500 miles. It didn't come apart. Anybody could do that, but if it breaks in a couple miles, and you broke it.
Broke it.
You broke it, but they can still go. And so I think I did something right.
And I'm living a good life in Alabama. My wife Kathy, we got it made.
Do you have to have those glasses
got
on?
little
I'm
grandbabies.
gonna put glasses on.
Yeah, I gotta have glasses to
See?
see the camera.
Can't see where you can't. Could you see me now?
Yeah, you can't. You gotta take them glasses off to see the picture. So you can't see the picture, but you're on that. You're on the camera.
Joe, you're colorblind.
Yeah, you're colorblind. So how you made it in that ballroom being colorblind?
Yeah.
But anyway.
They just needed a spot, and they lined
threw you in because you were a welder.
Yeah, I'm gonna weld the boiler. What are you going to do? Well, why don't you just remove all the paint off that wall and put more paint on it? All right. My recruiter said, Dave, come here, Bob. Let him come.
I just made my quota. I just made my quota.
Come on. I made a lot of lucky moves. Stupid, not calibrated, just winged it and lucked out.
Yeah.
I honestly did. Like, the Navy was the best thing I ever did. I learned something different.
I agree.
Came out at the right time, and they were just happened to be building power plants around my house. I just happened to get in one, and just like, I've been riding the wave. Like, I don't know what happened. And I think I've been a bad person, but I believe in, like, I don't want to turn this into a Catholic thing, but I believe in somebody looking over for me.
Oh, I agree with you.
Maybe the Lord, maybe Jesus, whoever you believe in.
There's a higher power.
And somebody's been, because I've been an idiot my whole life and watching out for me. I should have been dead a long time ago.
Well, we're on the Lake of Ozarks at Scott's house. I mean,
It's a
beautiful place.
place.
Yeah, it's amazing. Scott is, like I say, he's out of Illinois. Southern Illinois.
I have been very lucky in my life, and I got to say one thing. I said, I think we started this podcast at the beginning here. I was lucky to be assigned to the group because when I came on board, when you first come on board, you come to this area and they're saying, "Okay, what do you do?" I just got off of BTA school. Luckily, I don't know who it was.
Were you on 4B right at the beginning?
Yeah. Right off the top. And they go, "Okay, well, we got an opening here for Baker." And I'm like, "Okay, where's Fort Baker?" I didn't know nothing about it. Come in there, signed me a bunk, and it was in the same group with all of you guys. And I'm thinking, okay, so you walk into this place, and you got 3 bunks, 3 bunks, 3 bunks, 3 bunks. So you got 12 bunks, and there was 1 empty bunk, and it was the top bunk. And I'm like there, and Fort Baker, I was blessed, I was lucky, but we were still in the yards. And that's when.
Did you get on there? We were still in the yards at Portsmouth.
Yeah, we're still.
I thought you came in the middle of workups before we went on.
No, we were still in the yards.
I'm all about it.
I get assigned to Fort Baker, and then he kind of becomes my mentor. And the first thing he said is, "Go get a piece of paper." I said, "All right." Go get a piece of paper. He says, "Start tracing the lines."
That's how you learn it.
He goes, "Start tracing the line. I want the high pressure steam. I want the superheated steam. I want the water domestic. I want the fuel lines." And you had to sit there. I mean, we weren't steaming. I mean, it was still dead. I mean, we were cold.
Right.
So I sat there and I'm writing all this thing out, and the best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. So
you knew where every valve was. If there was an emergency, you know what valve to go shut off. You knew what valve to go hit. You knew what to go open if you needed to open it.
You're absolutely correct. So once you trace out a system, you understand it.
You
right?
knew it.
And so I carried that on through our my career like. I'm like the power plant, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, look, you need to go here and follow this line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got lost. Show me. I go out and I go out and show them, and then it makes sense. This is 400. That's 200. It has to go down. And another thing is though, like you go through this whole power plant, and you know every gosh darn valve,
Right.
and then
Sorry, folks.
and then you don't do it for like 2 years, and this boot camp comes in, and they're struggling, and you go out and then you start showing them, and then you don't know what that line is.
Yeah.
What do?
Yeah.
It eats me alive.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Where's it go? Where's it go? Okay, oh, that's what it is. So it keeps you fresh, like, right? Like you just, like, if you don't have that drive to learn and know what's going on, like, that's what I was like today. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm not trying to judge you, but your well is cycling. I'm like, dude, you got a problem there.
Anyway, so
He was grabbing about the painting, part of that process the reason that painting that we done that, because you had a bunch of lines, everything had to be color coded, so every prep, 3 to 6 months with repainting. So when you had to repaint, you also had to do what? You remember? You had to
stencil it, and then you had to put the arrows on it for the direction of the flow.
So every time you cleaned that, painted it, re-stenciled, you was learning more systems. So that was part of that process where people think, well, we painted it, it still looks good. You're learning the system every time you paint something. So
I would come back with that drawing, and I'd say here, I'd say there's a valve here, and all of a sudden, I'll never forget it. I brought it back to you, you looked at it, and you go, it's kind of like a test, an inspection. So he goes, nope, said that you missed something. So I went back and I started looking through there again. I missed a bypass. There was a bypass in there. There was a valve on it with a bypass.
Yeah.
And I forgot to put that line in there. I'll never forget that till the day I die. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you physically trade, like, so once I got into the utility end of power plants or whatever, take this line and forget everything else.
Yeah.
Take this line from here and
Trace
figure it out there.
Right.
And then, that'll make sense. And then take this line and figure it out there. And then take this line and figure it out there. I said, you can't eat an elephant in a day.
Yeah.
You have to do it at one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant?
But
How do you eat an elephant?
But once you got that, it was like
Once you get
it all hit you. You knew how everything worked.
Yeah.
You knew how
But
everything
you
fuel,
can't.
water,
You have to eat an elephant
steam.
at one bite at a time.
Yeah.
You can't eat the whole elephant
That's
in
the
a
same
week.
thing with your life process and your life goals and dreams and everything. So when you're learning that, then we're out to sea learning things and making decisions about what to do in certain situations. All that associated with the way we lived our life after we got out. To me,
Sure.
So because every decision you learned on there was life and death. It was. The best decision you had to make was best for me, as long as it was best for you and you, our team, our ship, our country, the world. So all that played in together where you actually thought about it while you were doing that. But it was all like a system that some people fought it the whole time they're there, and then some say, hey, I get it. So it's all very important, and we're all counting on each other to do a job there that, that meant the job for the engine room, meant the job for the ship and our country. So it all just branched out for that, so it helped us to get to where we are now. You've got a real good job. You're a director of some prison sites, so just kind of give us a little detail what that is.
Overseeing the physical plant and structures of 68 prisons and throughout the country. So I've got a great team that works for me. We manage operations for maintenance and utilities.
So you work for, you don't work for what, like, so like you, I thought that you told me that you're in charge of building prisons or something.
Well, yeah,
But,
we build them.
but it seems like you're awful worried about prisons that exist. Like, we got a storm going up there, make sure the backup generators are running, make sure you got fuel oil.
Right, well, you were...
So you guys, you're also managing...
I have directors that
manage
that
prisons.
oversee certain
They're
facilities.
private prisons, and the government pays you to take care of the inmate.
Yeah.
And you take care of that too.
Yeah. So,
You're like a manager over several sites. You got
Right.
sites
That's a
too.
lot. That's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of like you have to know a lot about everything.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and done a very good job with
currently we have a hurricane coming up on the West Coast, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 facilities that are in the
In
path.
the eye of the
So we
possibility.
want to make sure that our generators are fueled, our generators are ready
So-
to go.
So we had like backup generators at FCI that we sold them steam, and then when we couldn't supply steam, we had to run their package boilers, and then they had a backup diesel. It was like a 16-cylinder freaking diesel, stupid megawatt, like a big
Locomotive engine, yeah.
like as big as this room, kind of like a V16 turbocharged something, 2 megawatt generator. So that was supplied, like it was an auto direct.
That's about 20.
If they lost power, I think 3 seconds later it was running.
28,000 kVAs.
It's
But
like
you're a bowler
kVA
Hey,
divided by volts times amps
Okay.
times
He's
this.
a bowler technician / welder that likes numbers for some
Yeah.
reason. I ain't figured that part out yet. But anyway,
I like numbers.
like numbers, like $1 million
Numbers.
numbers.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Our
Okay.
other brother that we're missing, one of our main watch members was
Marcus.
Mark Quinn, Ohio guy around Cincinnati area, I believe. So
Yep.
real smart guy. But Mark, after I got out, he re-enlisted.
I didn't know he like went into being an officer,
Mark
a
was
commander, and in charge of a boat. So you wouldn't let me be in charge.
He retired
of
as
a
an
boat.
XO.
Yeah,
Mark
Mark.
Turner's an
Yeah, Mark was a
executive
very good guy. I mean, just a friend, good as a teammate, good as a watch team member as there ever was. Just like these guys. But after I got out, he went on to
He
make
took over.
E6, enlisted. First class petty officer, done real good, and I think he became like sailor of the ship or something. Anyway, he was able and offered the opportunity to transfer into the officer part of the
Candidate school. Yeah.
candidate school and went through that and retired out at 33 and a third years as a commander, 06, executive officer
Of the ship.
on a ship. That is, I mean, from a boiler technician to
To an
To
E6
E6.
to
06
to an 06.
and 33 years. I mean, it's incredible. I mean,
That's a Mustang for you.
hats off to him. We really appreciate everything he's done. Lifed out, and now he's over a company that's redoing retired military ships, and that they're selling to other countries for their defense stuff. And he's helping get the ships running, doing prep cruising, and training their crews from the other countries. I mean, that's amazing. He's still sticking with it. He couldn't make it. We're missing that, and we're also missing Danny Toledo, another real good guy that's out of Georgia, actually out of New York, I think,
New York.
originally, but
Bronx.
the Bronx. And we're missing him too. And some others were missing. I had a comment about Robert Grozanowski. He commented on a picture I posted. So missing him. There was several people that we went through over the years.
Shiznowski.
Shiznowski, yeah.
Souza. He was down there.
Souza. Several guys.
Gerke, Flash.
Over the years, most, like I stayed in 5 years. You had some that stayed in 3, some that stayed in 4. So you interacted and exchanged people over the years. So you was constantly training and get familiarized. And like Scott went on to be a BTOW, Mark went on to be a BTOW. They split us up. One of our greatest accomplishments was on that cruise. When you do a cruise, you have to do a bunch of drills and tests to be certified we was a watch team in the boiler room for general quarters, which is wartime conditions. And when we first went out, we had to do a bunch of drills, and they come down and drilled us. They give you like 5 or 6 scenarios, firefight scenarios and boiler casualty scenarios. And we, not only were the first team to get a passing grade on the drills, we actually aced all the drills and got a special liberty out of all the other watch teams on the ship. So they would have been so you would have had at least 2 per boiler. So 4 for each. You at least have 16 to 20 teams anyway.
Yeah.
So we blew them all out. So that was the best team. Then shortly after that cruise, we were all
Split
busted
us up.
Split us all up. And you can't
So
blame
we
them. We
trained.
expanded and helped train and help the other crews. Did you make BTOW?
You let me change oil.
Oh, you changed oil? You how far did you make it?
I was like at the end of BTOW when we pulled in the shore. Like, so I was at LPO when we pulled back into port. Not when we pulled back in port, but at the end because we lost so many people.
Was that when
Remember
you
where
was in the brig?
remember I got rid up for taking a valve out with a red tag on it?
I don't remember that.
That's a bad deal there.
Yeah.
That's a lockout. A lockout safety device. He took out a lockout device, a valve.
I didn't take it out.
A safety.
So
You messed with it.
No, here's what happened. I'm going to tell you. This is my
Tell the
story.
truth.
This is my story.
And
This is my story. So there's a valve that cross-connected the aux steam, not saturated steam.
Auxiliary
We had saturated steam, superheated steam. Right?
steam.
Yeah.
So
Auxiliary steam was how many degrees? Tell me.
600, 598, I think
No,
exactly.
you're talking about pressure. How many
No.
degrees? 600 degrees. Auxiliary steam was 489 degrees.
Yeah, 400. Yeah.
489 degrees at 600 pounds. Superheated steam went from 700 to 850 on that ship, right?
Yeah, 850 for superheated steam.
Yeah, but
that's what we were saying.
auxiliary steam was saturated, right?
Right, 489 degrees.
So 600 psi is 500 or close to it, 498.
489. You know, that's the atmosphere. You know, no atmospheric pressure was 14.7. So,
Yeah.
so at 600 pounds, it was 489 degrees, right?
You were almost 600, 6 and 6. So you were 400. I don't know what I said. 498 degrees saturated steam
Okay.
is 600 psi.
And it went to
That's
like
what
the
we just
auxiliary stuff. It didn't go to the main engines. Took the main steam, which is super.
And the
We superheated.
main steam went to the main turbines and the generators, and the aux steam went to everything else
Yeah.
because you have to work.
Heating, food service, operations, things like that.
Well, that cut down too. That was hotel steam. That was 100 or 150.
Yeah, they moved to the reducing
Yeah, it
station.
got reduced down.
Yeah.
So.
So, what does water boil at? 600 psi,
214.
498 degrees, I think.
489. I think.
Well, whatever.
Water starts boiling at 214.
Yeah,
At
atmospheric
atmospheric pressure.
Atmospheric pressure.
Well, you're way off. Like, dude, you've been
600
in this
pounds.
civilian life.
Oh,
You're
it's
like-
600 pounds.
Like at 70 pounds, water boils at like 317 degrees
Yeah.
or something. So, but yeah, that's just basic.
But that's the stuff that we learned though.
Yeah,
when
we
we were
learned all
down
that
in there.
when we were-
So what
we would
does water boil at 600 psi? I'm gonna look it
489
up.
degrees.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did I say?
600.
Yeah.
Something like that. You said four.
These are the things that we would talk about.
So
when we
six.
were supporting it.
Here's what I remember. So we couldn't rule a
What's your drink?
turbine. We couldn't roll a turbine unless your superheat was 600 and 6 and 6. So if you're you're right. That's
Yeah,
right.
but we-
So
right.
6 and 6. So it's 100-degree superheat.
Yeah. Which we rarely ever done that. Most of the time it was 700 and above.
Above, yeah, because they made sure that it was dry.
If you could.
Sure.
It was dry.
But even in civilian life, like 600 psi and 600 superheat meant 500. If you had 600 psi, you're at 500 degrees boiling temperature, and if you had your temperature was 600, there was 100-degree superheat. So you at least had 100 degrees you could roll.
Different. Yeah.
6 and 6.
Right. No,
We did not
wet,
wanna
no
do
wet steam or anything to turbine, because that's catastrophic. Blow blades apart and stuff like that. So we made sure of that. So we took care of that. So we need to kind of move on to some other things.
Yeah. What else we got?
So, like
Get the numbers out of
while
here.
we were on that ship, we went to Libya. You know, a lot of people don't know about that. Like '86, is that right?
Where's my shirt?
So
Muammar Gaddafi.
that was our like major accomplishment while we were on there, going to Libya. You know, the crossing the line of death. You know, teaching Muammar Gaddafi a little bit of a lesson. That's the cruise shirt that we had. Some of the stuff we done. So, and what was your favorite port?
I think mine was probably Italy. We were there during the winter time, so we were able to to go to Italy, we went to Rome, we went to the Vatican, we got to see the Pope.
We also got so familiar with Italy. It was
I
like,
think I think you're correct. Like we got so used to Naples. We were in Naples a lot. I got to see St. Sophia, Pompeii,
Capri.
Rome. We went to Capri. You
Went
and
to
Mark.
Capri.
Did you go?
Italy was our home away from home.
Yeah.
We got so familiar with it, done tours and stuff. You know, I really like Spain. You know, Israel was another real.
Haifa.
Haifa, Israel was a very, you know.
Dude,
nice
Haifa.
place.
They were
you
very
go to
respectful of us.
Jerusalem, Bethlehem.
Yeah.
We all went there.
Yeah.
I know we did. We did all that, and at the end of the night,
Got to the
we
Wailing
got
Wall,
back,
saw
and
the
then
Wailing
we
Wall.
went up to Elias Cave.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting place. Singapore. Y'all in Singapore? No,
No, that was
a
world tour.
Turkey, went to Istanbul.
Yeah.
I bought 3 rugs there.
They had a nice box there. Had like big building, like these big.
Hey,
at the
what was the show that they showed us on TV like about the whole week before we went into Istanbul? What was the movie that they were showing us all the time?
Oh, that was that old movie where
Where the guy got
drugs.
bringing in the hashish.
Yeah, something train or something.
Remember?
Yeah,
Midnight Express.
Midnight Express.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they were trying to, make
Yeah.
sure that we would not bring any drugs. in the
It's
show.
not worth trying to make $500.
Yeah, everywhere we went, they would show some movies, or they show pictures or news clippings, and we also would get some shots that we had to take for different ports to make sure we were all right. But they wanted to make sure, because them countries, different laws than us, and they had to make sure that you're aware of that, the repercussions. Or because we had some people got in trouble. So.
Oh yeah.
So-
Some guys that went with us and never come back.
That's right. Some didn't come back on the ship, so it's that was life lessons too, and it's learning how some of them people lived, and the difference between our part of the world and theirs. So it was just all a learning experience and life lessons basically. So, what about the worst port?
The worst port. I'm looking at my shirt here. I don't know, man. I mean, I
Really hard.
You're looking at a kid that had never left Southern Illinois for, in my whole 18 years, and you're able to come over there and see the world after that, and you're thinking, geez, I've never seen this in my life. I don't think I ever.
I can't say there's a worse one either, because all of them was different. Different types of cultures, everything. Just you learn so much, you got to experience so much. So I couldn't really say there's a worse one. They're all just.
You learn everything.
Yeah.
You learn something new every time.
Yeah, but you.
The brig.
I'm like.
The brig was your port. That's right. He had a protocol in the brig.
So I'm 61 years old,
He's the old one in the group.
Yeah. Good dad.
and I could honestly say that
Say that.
every day I try to learn something new. Whether it's a mathematical problem or thing, or just a lesson in my life.
Another thing, Mike, you got to remember this is we were a group of guys that you're from Alabama, I'm from Illinois, Joe's from Pennsylvania. We had who was Pullen from Philly. I mean, we had several other ones that were from Danny from the Bronx.
Yeah, the Bronx,
Philippines. That's where you saw
Hispanic side of the
yes,
world.
you saw the
Figured
diversity.
it out.
It was real diverse, different cultures, different a bunch of different ages,
Yeah.
different a bunch of backgrounds. You were all like from country to city. But we all meshed and learned how to take care of each other and trusted each other. So it was.
When you all got in the hole, when we went down to the hole, it was all, the race was out. I don't care where you're from, the south, the north, whatever. We were all a team and we all worked together.
Like brothers. We're all blood brothers.
That's
too,
it. That's right. We got a knife.
So
we blood. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
We had another bad scenario. Well, I don't know about another bad scenario. So where was y'all working at when we hit the Ecuadorian oil tanker? Do y'all remember that day?
We were-
Yeah.
It was actually at
I
night.
was in bed.
I was in Fort Baker.
I was in Iraq.
I was in Iraq too.
I was in the hole.
He was on watch.
Boom!
And all of a
Boom!
sudden,
Dang, dang, dang! Dinner quarters, oh man.
That was.
I was in my rack.
That was the first
I
time
got thrown in my rack and thrown down in 4B, man. Go down there and firewatch.
Everybody didn't know what happened. We had we just slammed into it. You heard, we'd already hit the
General
first time
quarters,
before
general
they
quarters.
said general quarters. Manny Battle
Collision.
brace for shock. Then right after they said brace for shock, wham! It hit again. It come around. So we'd actually T-boned the oil tanker.
Yeah.
And it come around and hit the side and tore up, peeled the front back on the aircraft carrier, put a hole in the
sponsons.
The sponsons up there through the radar rooms. Luckily nobody got killed.
Nobody got killed.
Nobody got hurt.
I heard the story. The guy was in a radar room and he just left to go get a pee, and just something went through the room and got it.
Really?
Like if he was in there, he would have got caught in hot.
I'll never forget.
Yeah,
that was the first cruise. I mean, because when I come on board, we were in renovation.
Yeah.
We were and that was the first time we were at sea. I was sitting on the trash can, and we hit that, and all of a sudden we heard the collision. I looked around and I can't remember who our BTOW was. I said, "What the hell was that?" We hit a whale. Everything was fine.
Wheels don't move aircraft.
No. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
We ended up going back into the dry docks for how long? Much longer? 3 months? 4 months?
3 to 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a while because it fixed
I
the whole
have
front.
pictures
So is it true?
of the whole front end bent over.
Yeah.
The story is that Ecuadorian oil tanker was on autopilot. We had a watch team basically up on the bridge. They were controlling where we're going. They seen the ship coming, and there was a miscommunication about which way to turn. The actual person driving the ship turned the way that the officer said to turn, in which he has actually said the wrong way, and turned basically into the ship and hit. So when we got back, we lost several officers over this deal. And some of them wasn't even there. It's just part of the responsibility of the chain, just like you've been in charge of business or whatever, and something bad happens, you're responsible for that, what happens, whether you're there or not, because you're in charge. So we lost several people that were in charge over that, and we got it took care of and got ready for the cruise. And we had
Then we went on the cruise. Huh? Then we went on the cruise right after that.
Cruise after that.
With a couple more workup cruises. But
another bad case scenario, embarrassing thing. We had some good things, we had some embarrassing things. We're going from dead in the water off of Cuba. We lost all steam power to the whole ship, sitting there for nearly 20 hours, I think, something like that. It was a long time. We lost everything, and it was so hot, they had set up a triage base on the hangar bay where your jets is at. They run people down to the boiler room for like 15 minutes at a time, back up. Some of them was getting back IVs, cooling them off, going back down because we had to start over from scratch basically, but we're still kind of warm enough, hot enough to get it back up pretty fast. But it was so miserably hot and crazy situation that took nearly 20 hours, I think. That was embarrassing. You're not supposed to have that happen on a ship, to be
especially when we had Russian trawlers all around us.
Yeah, so and by Cuba. So but anyway, we had to get through that. We were talking to the Navy there for a while about that and hitting oil tankers on some embarrassing points, but that's just part of the life of being on a ship or being in the Navy. Things can happen whether it's your control or not. So another part of the learning lesson. So
then we went over to Libya and took care of business there, and I will never forget the night that we launched the planes off the ship, and Ronald Reagan comes over the PA system and said I had just authorized the assault or whatever we were going to do, and our guys went to Benghazi and had the F-111s, the Air Force
F-111s. A lot of them
come over France
planes, right. The first time that them planes were used in any kind of operation like that, we had to fly through France.
Yeah, had to fly. Well, no, France would not let us fly through. So we had to bypass France, and then they come through, and we hit Benghazi, and they hit Tripoli.
They hit Tripoli, yeah.
Yeah.
They lost one jet, if I remember right, one F-111.
And then we had, I can't remember the number, but there was a certain number of our planes that went off the ship. Then they come back on the speaker system and said we had 14, 15, whatever it was, launch. And then when they come back and we did the recovery, they said we've got 15 on board. Yeah,
that was 100%.
That was 100% mission completed.
Yeah. Dropped all their weapons, everything, all their targets were hit. I mean, very unique. The backstory of that is kind of as Muammar Gaddafi in Libya everybody had their line of water, it's international water line. Well, Muammar Gaddafi in Libya said, our line goes out farther. And they are farther, and they called that the line of death. Anybody that comes across that line, we're not putting up with you. We're going. So a lot of protest, and other countries were complaining about that for the shipping parts that they had to do. And he's quiet. So, but anyway, we tested them. They sent us over there basically to test them. We would go across the line of death, send planes across there. They would fly out and then run back.
Sing the little trawlers, and all of a sudden we would they would jump off their plane.
They sent a couple out there, and we finally had to go. Like, all right, if they come out there, we harpooned some. We done
and then we go recover them.
Yep.
We go pick up the guys or the people that would jump off.
Yep. So anyway, we went through that. Then they actually shot missiles, surface-to-surface missiles. They called them away while we're in the ships. Brace for shot, port side, starboard side, whatever. And everybody was down there. If you're in the boiler room, like, what the crap? You're down there waiting for a hit. But they would use that the computer and radar jamming technology to take care of the missiles, basically make them abort and crash. So we never had an issue with that. But still, you were worried about it while you were in the bottom of the ship, knowing a missile was heading your way. So
30 feet below.
Right, 30 feet below water. So went through that, took care of that. Then we come back, and you done another cruise. I ended up getting out, not too long after that, and Martin done another cruise. Joe was out before then, so like he's out right now, so we ain't got to worry about him cussing or anything anymore.
Thank you, Lord. Appreciate that.
Yeah, bless his heart. We love him, but hey, he's having fun. We're having fun together. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. We're pretty much jailed back. I mean, it's amazing.
It is.
That we've been apart basically for that long, but we're still brothers. Still love each other. Still want to take care of each other. Anything happens, we're there. So,
please. And we're already scheduling for our next visit next year. San Diego.
We want to go to San Diego and see our sister ship. Our ship got cut up years back, so it was they didn't want to save it because it cost too much to run them ships because they were diesel fuel supplied for their power. So now everything's nuclear, which is way more efficient and way more cost efficient. It's amazing, that technology. So and they're still using F-18s, so that's pretty cool. So we were the first ship to do that, first ship to put them in action. So we're blessed for that. I mean, we're having a blessed life, and we're having this blessed little show right here. And our main character is out, and he's gonna love it. Hopefully, I can get this edit where you can see all this. He's wasted that whiskey right there that he loves so much. But he has drank a whole bottle and a half of wine.
Half. 1.5 bottles of wine.
He saved one for us, but he ended up getting half. Anyway, he's a good guy. I mean, he's having fun. There's no problem with that.
And he's got what? 4,000 jumps?
Yeah, he's jumped like 3,900 something times out of the airplane.
How many times have you jumped out of an airplane?
Yeah, how many times have you jumped out of an airplane?
3,874 or something.
Yeah.
Boy, hey,
not quite 3,900.
And your dollars jumped how many times? 700?
450.
450. His dollars jumped 450 times at 22.
She's 22.
Yeah, so that's amazing. He's done a lot of stuff now. I mean, he's having a good time, having fun, still slipping on the grass.
Just fell asleep.
Hey, we're just taking a little bit of a break, so that's fine.
I'm back up. I'm back up.
He's back up.
And he's driving the golf cart.
He thinks he's driving the golf cart.
We're going for a ride.
Tell us your last feelings, your last words.
I'm all glad you got to meet me. I'm not gonna be around much longer, so you could tell people like, I met Joe Lincoln. We had 3,900 jumps.
That's incredible, really.
And he paid up what's his name?
Who?
Mark.
M&S. Mike and
Scott.
Mike and Danny?
Mike
and Scott.
Yeah,
Mark and Danny.
You're Danny?
Mark and Danny.
I'm Scott. That's mine.
I'm sure you were Danny. I don't know.
I'm not Danny or
I'm gonna
Ash.
second guess myself.
Okay.
How many of us are sitting right here?
Three of us.
Trios.
Making sure it ain't 4 or 5 of us.
Jesus.
He
sees 6 of us right now. Trust me.
Oh, I hope y'all enjoy this. We're having a good time. It's fun. Don't take it too serious. Like I say, it's just
I think I
fun.
passed out for a little while.
No, you did go to sleep.
Yeah, you did go to sleep.
You were bored.
You got your second win.
We only went to the store for a little bit, so.
All right.
So we're all right. Hey, thank y'all for watching.
Thank
You
you.
know, thank Scott for having us here. I mean, this is a beautiful place, beautiful part of the country. I mean, it's amazing. You know, I've never been to this exact area. I've been to Missouri several times.
Very pretty.
Yeah,
It's-
this lake
it's
of
The
the
hills,
Ozarks.
the mountains, the lakes.
Yeah, 1,100 and something miles of shoreline up here in these hills. It's real pretty. Hardwoods everywhere. You know, variety of animals. You know, big water. You know, a lot of boats and stuff. You know, not really wild like some of the lakes we got where I live. It's pretty calm. So man, we have enjoyed every bit of it. Just a great. It's been cooler. You know, love
Yeah.
this. It's been 100 degrees down home. So we really appreciate it. We appreciate Joe showing out for us and being the main commentator for this video. So
Yes.
I got a boo-boo here.
yeah,
I got a boo-boo here.
He went to a Disturbed
I got a
concert.
boo-
Disturbed concert. That ought to tell you something right there.
At 61 years old, folks. What does that tell you?
He's still enjoying life. It's amazing.
God bless you, brother.
Yeah, God bless you.
All
Cheers,
both
y'all.
of
We're
you.
out of here.
Cheers.
Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one.
Take care.
I think I passed out for a little bit.
You did go to sleep.
You're right.